Hello. Today I wanted to talk a little bit on the 30 days of a social media break that I took and what I gained from it, just to share my experience. The very first thing that I noticed was that even coming to the idea of breaking the habit was really hard. And I just had a really hard time admitting to myself that it was a problem and that I've been spending too much time. You know, that notification on your phone that comes up and says, you've been on your phone for 6 hours, 7 hours. And I'm like, wow, I've been on my device a lot. You know, since 2020, I think it's the worst it's ever been, and I'll be the first one to admit that. And I really wanted to break that habit. So as you know, coming to that piece, I just said, okay, I'm going to delete my apps, my social media apps off my phone. This included Facebook and Instagram. Luckily, a couple years back, I deleted Twitter and Snapchat, and I'm not on TikTok. And I had YouTube as well, you know, to watch things. And at one point, I even had Amazon Prime and Netflix on my iPad. So it was quite a few things. I deleted all of these and canceled Netflix as well at home and Amazon Prime. And when I decided to do that, I realized that I have been on autopilot. My friend used to ask, like, when you open your phone, what are your like 3 apps that you spin through? Like, what's the cycle for you? And I'm like, well, I guess I open my Instagram and then I check my email and then I come back to Instagram and then I'll check my messages like WhatsApp and my text. But you can see those notifications. You have that little red circle that tells you. So I don't really need to check it, but it's almost like I need to go back and just in case if I miss something, which was kind of a weird autopilot habit that I had adopted. It kind of made me feel like I was in a trance. I don't know if anybody feels that way. And I really want, you know, to just delete the apps. The younger version of me would have been like, what? Delete Facebook? That, like, I have been such a traveler. That's how I stay connected to people. And I realized, wow, like I can't do that. I'm not willing to say no to all the updates of my friends and what they're doing so I can live vicariously through them. And, you know, breaking that habit is just a realization, like, you are enough without it. You were enough before you downloaded that app, and you're enough if you delete it. And if it's hard for you, even deleting one that you know that consumes a lot of your time, maybe just start there, like, if that's something that you feel called to do. Next was week 1. So this is the yucky feeling part. We all know about dopamine hits, and I felt like I was chasing the next viral video. I wanted to know what was trendy, and I just scroll. I would get an idea like, I want to decorate my bedroom. What do I need to decorate my bedroom? And instead of asking myself, I just and I'm sure we're all guilty of that. And what ended up happening was I felt really drained and anxious and a little lost, kind of scatterbrained, more often than not. And I realized that the dopamine hit is not a place of joy, but it's more like a trap. And social media is like, it's designed to make you want that hit. It's designed to get you. So, like, don't blame yourself for that. I didn't want to blame myself and be like, you were open to what they had to give you. They were showing you shiny things that were empowering and that were inspiring. You're getting inspo. And I really kind of allowed that to happen and accepted that was like very socially okay. And I really wanted that connection, you know, and feeling really lonely in our modern time now. Social media is a really awesome way to fill it, but it doesn't fill my cup, right? It's just that little drop. And I'm craving a big giant pour of connection to fill my cup. So week 2, what do you do with all the time? Now, 2 things happened. 1, I felt super lonely and disconnected. I immediately felt like I have no friends, nobody texts me, I'm completely forgotten. And then there's also a little part of me is like, I wonder if they're DMing me on Instagram or on Facebook. And I'm just kind of wondering, like, do they know? Should I tell them that I'm on like a little bit of a digital detox? Because it came to the point where I was sitting on the toilet checking my phone and I would lose 20 minutes. And I'll be first to admit, I'm guilty of that and I don't feel great about admitting that, but also I need to recognize that's where it came from. Like, that's when I was like, oh, that's too much. I crossed a threshold. So rediscovering this time, I've been really asking myself a lot of self-reflection questions. And this has a lot to do with, what do I want to do? Who do I want to serve? How do I want to deliver? Do I want to create an offer? Do I want to continue the endeavors that I have because they kind of burnt me out, running a nonprofit and throwing art classes and facilitating, trying to collaborate with people? What do I want to do now? I had this time, and I almost feel like when I had the phone in my hand and I was like, I'm busy. I feel busy. I feel productive. I have looked at so much stuff. But then I was not looking at all this stuff. And I think we often forget that time is a superpower. I really like that. And that it gives you back the ability to try something that you really love. And my prime example of that today was, I don't know what to do with myself. So I brought all my equipment out and I wandered around and I found myself a nice little nest, and I did some breathing and I listened to some meditation, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm going to record something. And it feels really natural. And that makes me warm in my heart that I'm not looking on YouTube, looking to model what thumbnail, what title, what content is really important. And that in itself, I find really distracting. Not only that, I have discovered this full-time purpose group. And now that I've discovered this group, I realize that the content that I am absorbing is teaching me how to step into my purpose. And what's most important is not being distracted. And, they love the term commitment, consistency, embracing imperfection. I totally agree with all of it. And thank you, Aaron, Victor, and Matt as well for putting that, the CCIA in there. But I just realized that it's okay to be bored. And when we're bored, you can actually grab some inspired ideas. They'll come and they'll call you. And I'm not sure if you've ever read Big Magic. Great book, I'm almost done. And she talks about these inspired ideas above us, and they are calling our names. They're saying, Jenny, Jenny, come pick me, create me, bring me into this world, birth me into this existence. And when I'm distracted on my phone, I'm not looking up, I'm not listening, I'm not paying attention. So boredom's okay. I welcome it now. Welcome boredom. And then I collect all my things and I'm being more productive. And the most important thing is I'm being more intentional. Being more intentional is like, that's the theme of the month. I feel lighter. I think if you've seen some of my previous posts, they were really rushed. I noticed that I wasn't getting a lot of views. It was bumming me out. I felt if I didn't make content every day, that I'm going to miss out, or that I'm not going to be trendy, or people will know that I'm inconsistent. And the worst thing about being on socials for me specifically is that feeling of comparison. I can't seem to help it. I'll look at somebody and be like, oh, she's so cute. And look how eccentric she is. And oh, she's so well spoken. And I love her place looks great. And her camera must be a really nice camera. And then I'll record. And then all of those things that I've just thought are now spinning in my head as I'm doing this recording. And man, I'm not being authentic. So it really gave me more truth. I can kind of sit up a little bit taller and just understand that I am accepting myself for this beautiful blessing of time, boredom, and lightness. You know, when we're lighter, we can just flow into things better, just not as many expectations. I find that when I'm looking at stuff, I almost expect that I'm supposed to reflect that. I'm supposed to be reflecting a polished life, composure on the camera, things like that. I think for me, it gave me the ability to step back and look at why I'm using it and how am I using it and what am I using it for? These are all valid questions. To protect my mind and to clear everything intentionally. I find that now I can come back to it. So today was the first day after 30 days. I logged into my socials and I checked all my DMs. And it was okay. I didn't panic. My stress levels didn't go up. I just gave myself like a 5-minute window. And it was like link to reel, link to meme, link to reel, link to reel. Nobody was actually like talking to me. It was just like my friends sending me things that they thought were interesting that I would like. Okay, that's the beginning. As soon as I press on one of those, I'm in the loop. I've opened the loop. I didn't press on any of them. I didn't even open the chats. That was the part that made me nervous. Facebook, same thing, but it was less reels. People were like checking in. I'm in a bunch of group chats for a yoga group and my work and things like that. So I'm like, don't open it. I can see one of those as a recipe. And I'm not hating on people sending me awesome tips and tricks and food, of course. That's great. But really protecting my mind. So now that I can come back and revisit it, I'm going to set timers on my apps when they come back for no more than maybe 30 minutes a day. Make time to check my emails and messages in the morning, once in the morning, and not check them again for the rest of the day. And limit my screen time. I think that's also something. I just want better sleep. I'm always tired. I just really, really want better sleep. And not having that blue light, 2 to 3 hours before bed. Would I recommend taking a 30-day social media detox? For sure, if you're called to it. I'm still on my phone. I'm not doing like zero screen time because I have a daughter, I have a partner, and I have a work phone. And I make sure that I'm very intentional, that I'm not scrolling on any of these. And when I get the notification, I know it's a message for me. That's how I've set up the notification. And, if you want to improve your sleep, give yourself that time for inspired ideas or your daily practice, if that's going to the gym or journaling, it just opens up that window a little bit more for space and time. And for anyone out there, you don't need to quit forever. You can literally do this for like 3 days or 5 days or once a week or whatever works for you. I just wanted to know I could. Kind of wanted to prove it to myself. And I definitely got withdrawal symptoms. I'm not going to lie about this. I would pick up my phone and I wouldn't know why I picked it up. I would bring it with me to places like the bathroom, thinking I'm going to need it. I would carry it around in my hand for a while, just for no reason, like a comfort thing. And yeah, it was very eye-opening. Once I was able to put it down, for a while I threw it on airplane mode, so I knew there wasn't going to be any notifications and nobody was going to get through until I decided to wake up in the morning and like turn on my data. That helped. and delaying it for as long as possible in the morning and putting it away as soon as I can after work. These were all little tweaks that I kind of really had to push past. There was a lot of resistance for me. But the big reminder is you are not your likes, you are not your followers, you are not your comments, you're not even your videos. You are you. My worth is in my own thoughts, not what is being consumed. I don't want to be tied to anything outside. If you feel like you're really tied to external validation, this would be something really good for you to step back and ground into yourself. And my final takeaway is just write down one thing that you love about yourself. Mine today is I love the fact that I came outside in nature to experiment with this video and have fun. And being yourself at all times is always your real power. Thanks for watching.